In last video, we have discussed about conservation of wildlife and forest and our Project Tiger Red Data book. Now next one is migration. So a migration is the movement of animals from its own habitat to some other habitat for a particular time period every year due to climatic changes or for breeding. So what is migration here? Migration is the movement of animals from its own habitat, means from its own place to some other place for a particular time period every year due to climatic changes or for breeding. So what is breeding here? Breeding is nothing but the mating or the production of offsprings by animals. So migration is nothing but the movement of animals from its own place to some other place for a particular reason. The reason is nothing but for a particular time or for the climatic changes or for breeding. Birds which fly very long distances to reach another land are called migratory birds. So here we are discussing about the birds, migration of birds. If a bird is migrating from one place to the another place, if a bird which fly very long distances to reach another land, those birds are called as migratory birds. As you can see here the pictures, these are the migratory birds, means they are migrating from one place to the another place. Next you can see here the schematic presentation of the migratory birds, means how the birds will migrate. You can see here the penguins. These penguins are migrating from India, means their native place, that is India, and they are migrating to the Australia. See here, if a bird, this penguin bird is migrating from India to the Australia for some time, for any reason you can say, for climatic changes or for the breeding. See here, this penguin is migrating from India to the Australia. See here, this penguin is migrating from India to the Australia, and again it comes to the original place. That is called as the birds which are migrating from one place to the another place for some time or for a particular reason, that is breeding or climatic changes. Next, about recycling of paper. About 17 full grown trees are required to produce 1 ton of paper. Paper can be recycled about 5 to 7 times for use. We should save, reuse and recycle paper to save not only trees but also to save the energy, water and chemicals used to make paper. So here recycling of paper means whatever the paper, waste papers are there, used papers are there, those paper again we are recycling for the use. Means about 17 full grown trees. 17 full grown trees are required to produce how much ton of paper? 1 ton of paper. Paper can be recycled about 5 to 7 times for a use. Means when a single paper is used, that's 5 to 7 times we can take the use of that paper, means recycled. We should save, reuse and recycle paper to save not only the trees but also to save the energy, water and the chemicals used to make the paper. So what type of the chemicals are used here for recycling of paper? Soap, sodium hydroxide, sodium silicate. These are the chemicals used to make the paper. You can see here the pictures of recycling of the paper. So what is recycling of the paper? Means paper we are using again and again, and we are using that same paper, used paper. We can recycle not to save only the trees but also to save the energy, water and the chemicals used to make the paper. Next one, reforestation. So what is reforestation here? So reforestation is nothing but process of replanting an area with trees. Reforestation is the restocking of destroyed forest by planting new trees. So what is reforestation? Reforestation is nothing but restocking of destroyed forest by planting new trees, or you can say the process of replanting an area with trees. That is called as reforestation. We should plant at least as many trees as we cut. We have already caused a lot of damage to our forest. If we have to regain our green wealth, reforestation is the only option. Means reforestation is nothing but replanting an area with trees. Okay, it's the totally opposite of the deforestation. You can see here the reforestation means planting new trees. In that area of the deforestation where we are cutting the trees, now in that area only we have to replant, means planting new trees. Next we'll see the difference between wildlife sanctuary and biosphere reserve. These are the conservation area, the conservation of the wildlife and forest. Wildlife sanctuary, that the first point, it is an area within which animals are protected from possible dangers such as hunting. Their habitat is also conserved in this area. What's the main point here? It is an area within which animals are protected. Wildlife means only the animals are protected from possible dangers such as hunting. Okay. Their habitat is also conserved in this area, means their place is also conserved in this area. And biosphere reserve, it's a large protected area constructed for the conservation of biodiversity. So biosphere reserve, it's also one of the large protected area, but it's conserve of biodiversity here. Means both plants and animals are conserved here. In wildlife sanctuary, only the animals are protected. Second point, it provides protection and suitable living conditions to wild animals. This wildlife sanctuary provides protection and suitable living conditions to the wild animals. Biosphere reserve, it helps in the conservation of various life forms such as plants, animals and microorganisms. In wildlife sanctuary, only the animals have given the suitable conditions and protection. To the animals only the suitable conditions and protection is given. But in biosphere reserve, it helps in the conservation of various life forms such as the plants, animals and microorganisms. And last one, Pachmari Sanctuary is a wildlife sanctuary. We have discussed about Pachmari Sanctuary. It is situated in Madhya Pradesh. Okay, this is one of the wildlife sanctuary. And biosphere reserve, Pachmari Biosphere Reserve is a popular biosphere reserve which consists of two wildlife sanctuary, Bori and Pachmari, and one national park, Satyapura National Park. Now the last one, difference between national park and wildlife sanctuary. First about national park. A national park is a more restricted area as compared to wildlife sanctuary. Random access to people is not allowed. In national park, it's a more restricted area. Means when you will compare to the wildlife sanctuary, national park is restricted area. Means random access to people. Here the peoples are not allowed to go in the national park. But in wildlife sanctuary is not restricted area. It is open to general public. Second, tickets or permissions are required to enter into national park. Means the permission is required to enter in the national park. But in wildlife sanctuary, tickets or permissions are not required to visit a wildlife sanctuary. Third one, a national park has a definite boundary. A wildlife sanctuary does not have a specific boundary. Fourth, general public cannot use the park for collecting any materials like fruits, firewood. Here also same in wildlife sanctuary. There also the public cannot use the park for collecting any kind of the materials like fruits and firewood. Now the last one about the examples. Jim Corbett National Park, which is present in the Gujarat, is one of the example of the national park. And wildlife sanctuary, Krishna Wildlife Sanctuary in Andhra Pradesh. This is all about the difference between national park and wildlife sanctuary. So this completes the conservation of the plants and animals chapter, which comes in the biology part.